What's up, guys? This is Luke, the PMCM Property and Construction Manager. Today we are talking about roof safety. Specifically, what we're going to be doing is installing a permanent roof anchor and going over what type of harness and how to properly use a harness when going up on a roof. This harness is an OSHA approved permanent harness, meaning that I am going to install it today and have it up there for the entire duration of this house. What I plan to do is anytime I go up on the roof, clip into this roof anchoring system, and then I'm totally safe. So what I want to do today is first we're going to go around the house. We're going to talk about our goals, what we plan to do today and how we plan to do it. Then we're going to talk about our setup, what I have, tools required, and we're going to talk about the roof harness and how to use that properly. First off, let me say that roof work, specifically a higher pitch roof work, is a much more advanced type of work. This is something that is not the average DIYer. Yes, DIYers can do roof repairs, but this is the more advanced DIYer. I want to put this a scale out of 8 out of 10 difficulty. And if you are if you're uncomfortable with roof heights and being on your roof, this is something that please hire a professional for. There are so many stories about people falling off the roof, getting hurt, getting killed, that if you are the slightest bit concerned for that, hire somebody else. It is worth the $1,000, $2,000 to get a professional up there that's comfortable on a roof to do this type of thing. The key is being comfortable. It took me 4 to 5 years to become comfortable on roofs, and even this incline, I'm not totally comfortable. I'm going to use a couple tools to help me today, but this roof has a higher pitch in it. It is not a flatter roof that's easy. I can just walk around willy-nilly without a care. I have to take precautions to not fall, including the anchoring system, including the harness, but also I'm going to try this new product out today called the PitchHopper. And what that's going to do is give me a little seat to kneel on up there and just something to kind of feel a little secure while I'm up on the roof. So this is not sponsored by PitchHopper at all, but I'm just doing a little product review. Additionally, I am installing an RS series anchor. It is the 06 2021 version, and I will put links to all the products that I'm using today in the description. So let's first take a walk around the house and talk about this particular roof. Okay, so we have a 2-story roof. We have about a 20-foot drop from the gutters. If it was a 3rd story, I wouldn't even think about going up there. There's a big difference between a 20-foot drop and a 30-foot drop. But what I'm going to do is go to the highest point of the roof and in the center of the roof, because what I want to be able to do is put my anchor somewhere in the center so that if I want to dangle my rope this way or this way, I'm still towards the center of the house. Now the next thing to do is plan an attack to get up on this roof. We have the elevation of our property going this way, meaning that this is higher than this. Now that 4 or 5 foot difference of getting to the roof in the back may be all the difference in using a 20-foot ladder or a 30-foot ladder. So I'm going to use the elevation in my favor. Now the reason that I'm doing it this way is I'm able to use a little giant, a 12-foot ladder to get up there and then climb up versus going all the way up with a 24-foot ladder up here. I would definitely choose to do it on this side of the house because of the elevation. You know, like I said, that couple foot difference will make a world of difference in feeling comfortable up on the roof. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the tools required for this job. Anytime I go up on a roof, I like to use a tool belt. What this allows me to do is have pockets for everything and places that are secure, meaning that my hammer hangs here. I have a place to put it. I have a place to lock it and latch it. I have a place for my nails. I'm not going to be fumbling around putting stuff on a roof that could potentially fall off the roof. I have everything in hand's reach, and I have a spot for everything. I empty my tool belt at the beginning of this job, and I pack it out specifically for this job. The next thing I do is I use knee pads going up on a roof. When kneeling down, these knee pads not only give you comfort, but they give you a little bit of grip that you want when you're on a pitch. Now, I'm gonna be working on the back side of this roof as opposed to the front side of the roof, again, because the elevation goes this way. That couple 4 feet of difference may mean the difference of life and death if you were to fall. We're not gonna do that, but that's just what we're doing today. The next thing I mentioned, we're using a Little Giant. The Little Giant is a great tool to fold and use the ladder the way we want. Right now we have it in an A-frame, but it only goes up 6 feet. What we are gonna do is position it and extend it so we are getting up to the roof itself. The next thing, as I mentioned, I'm going to be using the PitchHopper. What the PitchHopper does is it sits on the angle of the roof and allows me to kneel and give me some support that I feel comfortable, that I feel like I'm sitting on a flat surface, and I can move this easily. This is the first time I am using this, so let's give this a try. Additionally, we are using a harness. Now, I will put the link in this specific harness that I used with a nice lead line and then a 6-foot energy absorber. So the first thing I'm gonna do, put my belt on, pack out my belt, and get up there and let's put in this permanent roof anchoring system. Anytime I do roof work, there's a couple things that I like to have just on hand. The first one is Henry flashing. I love this stuff. You can do anything with this. You can punch a hole in your roof and just slap this stuff on and you're watertight again. The other thing that I like to have is flashing repair seal tape. This is going to be nice. I can do a nice clean version of this Henry system, and I use a combination of the two. I like to overkill my roof flashing and cement flashing after doing any kind of nail. It can't hurt to have too much. Okay, before we get up there, I want to just pack out my roofing tool belt. I'm gonna dump everything out. There are some screws up there that I had from a deck job that I'm not gonna need right now. I am going to need a hammer, which I'm going in the hammer holster, and a flat bar, which I am going to put just in my pocket there. I have the nails needed for the permanent anchor. That's all going in a pocket. I favor my right side, so I'm going to put it in my right pocket. That's all I need for now. So let's put our tool belt on and get up on the roof. Okay, wow. I like this roof pitch system. I feel so much more comfortable right now. I feel like I'm standing on a little bit of level ground. Okay, so we used this roof vent to mark our center point. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove 2 of these asphalt caps. Now, this is a non-ridge vented, non-soffitted roof. You can see the neighbors have it as well. They have a gable vent. They do not have ridge vents. This, I'm not sure if this product will work with a ridge vent. Obviously, you still want to hit your truss, your joists that are going this way. You don't want to go into the plywood deck. But in this particular case, it is non-ridge vent. Okay, so my first step that I want to do is I want to identify where my roof joist is, and I do that with a hammer. What I'm going to hear is a hollow sound and then a thud for where it's solid. The hollow is the roof decking material. The thud is the roof truss or the joist. That is where we want this anchor to get into. So I just want to know where that is. Hear that right there? right there is my, my truss. Hollow, solid. Now, without damaging the roof, I'm just gonna put a little mark where I found that just so I can come back. It's directly here, and I wanna remove the two roofing caps over that truss. Now, to do that, I'm gonna use this flat bar, and very gently, I'm gonna find the nail. I'm trying not to damage this, but you know, if you damage the older roofing caps, it's just the name of the game. Now, I felt where the nail was under here, and all I'm doing is just lifting that nail out. Trying to slide this out. There we go. We got one nail out. My goal is to damage these as little as possible so I can reuse them. Now again, I am close to the center line of the roof. If you damage it, that's okay. That's why we have the Henry roof seal, which we're probably gonna slap over this stuff anyway. There we go, everything's getting nice and loose. Looks like there was a little bit of tar under this one as well as the nail. So this one's pretty much out. I'm gonna try to keep it in order. I have my line right here that I made. This one's giving me a little bit of trouble. I'm just gonna move back a little bit. There's the nail that's giving me a problem. Let's see if it's on the other side as well. There it is. If a tool falls, man, let it fall. Not worth extending. It's a lot easier to just get it and get down off the roof. Okay, that one got a little bit damaged, so we're gonna have to take care of that with the Henry roofing cement. Okay, so let's find our mark again. It's an inch from this ceiling tile over here, and let's straddle this. It's gonna help me just to feel a little bit better. But again, I'm really liking this PitchHopper. Now, sometimes they come with a little bit of flashing tape built in. This one doesn't. So I am actually going to go and grab some of that. And I want to make sure that I'm just big enough on the outside of this to sit outside of the cap shingle. That looks about right. So let's go back down and grab the flashing tape and some of the Henry sealer, and we'll come right back up. Okay, so we're back up on the roof. I got my flashing tape and I got my Henry's roofing cement. Now, I am gonna cut my flashing tape to the same width as the strapping, but I wanna get this strapping in place and I wanna stick the flashing tape to the roof and then penetrate this with the foil side up. I have two strips here, but in order for me to do that, I have to get my ridge aligned and make sure that I'm in the right spot. So I'm just gonna triple check, hollow, Hear that difference? That's where we want to be. So I'm going to stick this directly under where I'm going to nail it. And I'm going to stick this on this side directly under where I'm going to nail it. Let's just line everything up. And we're going to use the nails that it came with. It has a little bit of a helix to it, and it looks like it'll just kind of hold it in place. They're like 2.5 or 3-inch nails. So let's start with one, and let's see if we hit our truss. Now, if it just goes straight down, you missed. That is not just going straight down. I am in my truss. Okay, now let's do them in order. What I don't want to do is have a bunch up on this top of the peak. So I'm going to start on this side and work my way over with the nails. They're solid. I am in my truss. The truss is basically a big 2x8 piece of wood that is supporting the weight of the roof. You're hitting the meat of the framing of the house as opposed to just a piece of plywood. Because God forbid you were to fall, you want to be anchored into the structure, not just a piece of plywood. Every single one of these nails is hitting meat. I feel it right there. See that resistance? See that resistance all the way down? Meat. Just making sure that that's nice and flat. Now, one little other piece of advice that I like to do is I have my cell phone on me. I have had an instance where I was reaching for a ladder and I knocked the ladder off the roof and I was stuck on the roof. So that's something we do not want to have. Keep my cell phone in my pocket. I'm getting text messages and phone calls, but I'm ignoring it when I'm on the roof. Sorry, guys. Now, I can take another piece of this membrane and put it over, or I could use the roofing cement. I'm going to use the roofing cement just to kind of give it that waterproof that I want it to have, and I need to open it anyway to fix this asphalt shingle. Now, if I had another shingle, I would use that, but these are okay. I have full pieces of shingling underneath this anyway, so the water's gonna want to go and not get in anyway. I'm just gonna put roofing cement all over this as if it was just a regular normal patch. I'm gonna make sure that I get my nails with the patching cement. You can take them out. In this case, I'm gonna leave them in and then just cover them. And then I have a box of 1.5-inch roofing nails with me. Now, sometimes you can get them with the gasket, but what I like to do is just put a little bit of flashing cement on them and then nail them with the flashing cement and then cover them. So there's our roof anchor. It's in, it's secure. Let's get this watertight and then let's get our harness on. All I do with roofing cement, pop it open. I have a dedicated multi-tool, like a painting scraper tool for roofing cement, because you're never gonna get this stuff off your tool. What I like to do too is, instead of putting it back in my tool belt and getting my tool belt over, I'll throw it off the roof and try to get it on the grass. What I mean by multi-tool is this. It's the 5-in-1 scrapers tool that painters use. I don't know, these are $5 or so. So our roofing cement is like a, I want to call it like a jelly. It's definitely thicker. Maybe it's like peanut butter. But I'm just putting this all over any exposed nail that I'm gonna leave. And all over the new nails. I lather this stuff up, man. I feel like you can't get enough of this in there. It can't hurt to have more. This stuff in the real hot weather will like melt in place, man. It's just real nice to work with. I lather this stuff up like it's seasoning on my Christmas ham. Obviously, if your roof is newer, your shingles are going to be a little bit more mendable. You may not have this problem, but I don't care about the aesthetics. The airplanes are going to see that I have a little black spot on my roof. I could care less. So I got all my nails, oh, one more. All my nails lathered with this roofing cement. I got it all over my hand. I brought some rags and forgot to put them in my tool belt. It's good to have some rags. Another piece fell off. If the piece falls off like this, just get rid of it. It is not doing anything. I am gonna lather this roofing cement all over when I'm done here. All over this whole thing. This is my house. If it was a customer's house, I would grab a couple new shingles. If it was a area where your neighbors could see, or you could see because you had a little window, or you could see it from the backyard, definitely grab some new shingles. But in this case, not worth it for me. Now you can see my roof anchors overhang on both sides. That's exactly what we want. Now I'm gonna put a couple of new nails in this, but wherever I put a new nail, I am going to, let's see, I'll put a little bit of this underneath. It's gonna act as like a gasket. So I'll cut a little, I don't know, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch piece. And I'm gonna cover this whole thing with roofing cement too. So again, we have an upside and downside. Downside sticks to the roof, upside is our foil. I'm gonna put one nail here. That'll hold those two. I'm gonna put one nail here. That'll hold these two down. I'll put a third nail here. Again, I'm using 1.5" roofing nails with the flashing. I'm gonna put 2 here as well. The last thing you want is a little wind to come and take your roof shingle away. Okay, so there we have it. That is a finished product, a finished permanent roofing anchor system. Anytime I go up on the roof now, I'm gonna clip into these 2 points and feel comfortable that if I were to fall, I have a harness protecting me from hitting the ground. Okay guys, so the last piece of this video is using the harness and using it safely, understanding how to clip it on and how to use all the hooks and features of it. So first step in using the harness is putting it on. What I like to do is find where my legs are and step into it. So in this case, my legs are these black circles. I'm gonna step into it, throw them up on my thighs, and then roll this onto my shoulders on both sides so that all of the straps are completely not folded and where they're supposed to be. Now, what I'm doing, I have these pull points and these clips in here. If I lift the clip up and pull it down, it gets a little tighter. That's where I want it. I want it snug, but I don't want to cut off circulation. I want to feel like it is holding in place, but I am still able to stretch all the way up and all the way down, so I'm working comfortably. Same with these. I am just going to make sure that that is on my shoulder. I'm up high, but it's not falling down. It's not going up left or right. Everything's in place and feeling good. I got the boys kind of out of the way, so if I fall, I'm not risking any future children, if you get my drift. The last part is clipping in the harness point. This comes in here in this slot. Let's try it this way. Yeah, so you got to put this piece in a little backwards and then pull it tight this way. And if I wanted to adjust it, I pull the clip up and out and I angle it and I adjust it that way. In that case, I want it right about there, and that's it. Now, this particular harness has the lead already pre-anchored in the back. Sometimes you get kits where you anchor it to the back, so this one's actually bolted in and I like that. What I am able to do is clip into my rope anchoring system and understand that I have about 8 feet that I have to worry about my fall point from. So I want to make sure that this is always 8 feet up the roof. So if I were to fall, this piece unravels and gives me cushion and snaps me like this, and this whole piece gives me just a little bit of flexibility so I'm not feeling such a shock if I were to fall. So again, I don't want this at the end of the eave. I don't want to have 8 feet fall point from here. I want to have 8 feet fall point from up on top of the roof. So that way when this unravels, if it ever does, I'm dangling in the air. The last piece that we're going to be using is the safety rope. This is what's being clipped into the new anchor that's up there, and this rope dangles off. Now, this is not just your average rope. This is actually specifically rated for roofing. Use that stuff. It's about $200 for the harness, the rig, the permanent anchoring system. The PitchHopper that I use was $110. I think I got it on Black Friday. But use the appropriate stuff. Don't use a rope from Home Depot that's not made for roofing. This is super thick nylon. I'm sure I could climb a tree with this, no problem. So let's get back up there and we'll talk about using this. Okay guys, so we are back up on our roof here. I gotta just say, man, this PitchHopper is awesome. I really feel comfortable leaning on it, giving me a lot of support, way better than straddling this ridge here. Yeah, cool tool. So this is our rope, this is our clip. What we do is we unravel our rope as nice as possible and we throw it in the direction that we're going to be using it. Now, I'm clipping this particular clip. You have to push this side in and then the front. That's kind of a safety feature, because if I push the front, it just won't go in. So push the back and then the front. And I am clipping it onto our roofing anchor. Now there's our anchor point. The next step is attaching our anchor to the roof, but it's a special, again, that you're pressing to open and close, and it goes in a particular direction. You want it to be facing ringside down, because the locking point is this direction and the unlocking point is up that way. So this is unlocked, this is locked. So if I were to fall, we want it to fall in the unlocked position. Now what I'm gonna do is open this screw up place our rope in it and then close it back up. Now that's it. I am able to, I'm fully anchored into this thing. If I were to fall, this holds me in place, meaning that this is what's anchored to the roof. If I want to go up and down, I lift my anchor point up and I'm going with it. I'm dragging it with me. Now what I said before is this piece right here, you don't want to be at the end of the eave. If I'm going to the end of the eave, I still have another 6 feet of lead on here, and that unravels another 2.5, 3 feet. So if I were to fall, I have 10 to 12 feet of fall distance before this it secures me. So again, this never goes to the edge. Whenever I work, I always work this in front of me, and I come down and I work nice and slow. I'm always working slow up on this roof. There's no reason to go fast doing roof jobs. Fast is sloppy, fast is unsafe. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. The reason that I did this is I am going to spray some roof cleaner up on this roof, so stick and stay tuned for that video to follow. If you guys found this useful, please like and subscribe. This is the PMCM. I will see you next time.